We begin our meditation by getting into a comfortable spot, softly closing our eyes, turning our attention inward, focusing on our breath. Allowing the natural flow of our breathing to draw our attention away from all the distractions, all the things to do, all the things we worry about, to just be present to this moment and to give ourselves this gift of stillness, of rest, of time, and of affirmation. This is a simple loving kindness meditation. It's simple, yet so profound, and so often we don't take time for self-care, let alone self-love. It is a way to be re-energized and renewed. And so we begin by letting go of any tension that we hold in our bodies. Often that tension resides in us because we are worried. We're trying to control the world around us, people's perceptions of us, and the work that we do. We're trying to manage expectations, meet needs, keeping everyone happy. But sometimes that comes at the expense of our own health and happiness. And so deepening the breath, we just take a moment to cleanse any negative energy that resides in us so that we can make room for the positive. With each exhalation, just let go of any of that negative self-talk. Any talk you've heard, criticisms you've received, fears you hold, and just let that go. Allow your body to release that negative energy. I invite you to imagine that releasing of the negative is a way of allowing space for the positive. And so I invite you to imagine that your spirit is a pitcher of water, and it's filled to the brim. It might even be overflowing, so that if you wanted to add anything to that water, you couldn't. Not one ice cube, not one drop. But the water in that pitcher is murky. It's not clean. It's not healthy or safe. And so I invite you to imagine just pouring that water out, emptying that pitcher of all the negative, the harmful, the unhealthy, and spend a few breath cycles imagining just emptying that pitcher. And now before we fill that pitcher, we know that it's held things that were unhealthy and unclean. And so we need to rinse it out before we fill it with the good, the clean, the nourishing. And so I invite you to imagine that as you take some deep cleansing breaths, you are rinsing that pitcher out, wiping that vessel clean so that it's ready to receive. Now there is room, there's space, and so we fill that space up with the positive, the affirming, the clean, the nourishing, the healthy. We begin by acknowledging that we are enough. I invite you to repeat that mantra to yourself. I am enough. And as you breathe and do that, really believe that affirmation. You are enough. There is nothing you need to do, no way you need to be, no one you need to please, no way to earn or merit. I am enough. as you continue to breathe into that affirmation, imagine that pitcher beginning to fill. Fill with health and encouragement and peace. Because I am enough. And we next affirm that we are worthy, that our lives have meaning and purpose, that we are worthy of being loved and loving just as we are. And so I invite you in the next few cycles of breath to share that mantra in your own mind. I am worthy. And again, I invite you to imagine that pitcher filling up even more with that sense of worthiness and completeness. And peace. And our third affirmation. I am love. We are each of us created in love, for love. And so when we affirm that we are love, we acknowledge that it encompasses our very being, that love is at the core of who we are and what we are called to do. And so I invite you for the next few cycles of your breath to share in your mind that affirmation. I am love. And again, I invite you to imagine that picture filling up even more with love and worthiness and wholeness and peace. And before we draw this meditation to a close, there's always more room for the positive. And so I invite you to imagine whatever else it is you want to affirm for yourself. A sense of worthiness or peace, a sense of pride, accomplishment, joy, or hope. I invite you to add that as if you were putting ice cubes into that pitcher. Just adding one more thing to top off that sense of your worthiness. We are grateful for the opportunity to let go of the negative, the hurtful, the unhealthy, and the divisive, and to affirm for ourselves that which is true, that we are enough, that we are love, that we are worthy. And so, preparing to draw our meditation to a close, we take 3 deep breaths. And when you are ready, open your eyes.